It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friend.
I'm not going to do it, but I am going to say that he is full of, okay, I'm going to do it. He's full of shit.
On the eve of the vote to release the Epstein Files, Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett just brilliantly dismantled MAGA Mike Johnson and Donald Trump in one single instance on CNN, where she absolutely humiliated the both of them and then exposed their slimy scheme to stop the Epstein Files from being fully released.
Because here's the thing. Number one, we know that he didn't even bring the House back in because he was trying to avoid us dealing with Epstein. So miss me on pretending that this is about the victims.
And it is so brutal and brilliant that I actually had to bust out the bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body Jasmine Crockett collection shirt. But here's the thing, folks, as we'll see, she really didn't even need to humiliate them before exposing them, because Donald Trump has done that himself by mysteriously about-facing on his trepidation to release the files in the first place. Take a listen to what he had to say earlier today.
The lead tonight after attacking Republicans supporting the release of the Epstein Files as, quote, weak and, quote, foolish. President Trump now reversing course and telling Republicans to, quote, vote to release the Epstein Files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax, unquote. It is not a hoax. This comes just before tomorrow's expected House vote, where the bill to release the files is expected to pass overwhelmingly, despite the president's months of objections and just days after that last-ditch effort to try to sway Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to drop her signature from that discharge petition, which would force this bill onto the floor of the House for a vote. This is during a White House meeting in the Situation Room of all places.
We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
Of course, Jake, it was a lot of Democrats who were mentioned in those emails and that were corresponding with Jeffrey Epstein. But Jeffrey Epstein himself, in those newly released emails we got last week, also named Donald Trump several times. And he was a member at Mar-a-Lago until he wasn't. And there are multiple photos and videos of the two of them together. So obviously, we'll be watching closely to see what does happen in the Senate after tomorrow's vote.
You know, to be fair, Donald Trump was a Democrat at the time. Caitlin.
True.
Yeah. And Jake Tapper actually brings up a great point there, right? Donald Trump was famously a Democrat before he was a Republican. He was famously pro-abortion before he was anti-abortion. But, you know, I guess snake oil salesman gonna snake oil sell. And MAGA brain miscreants gonna fall for it. But thankfully, both Republicans and Democrats alike aren't falling for it anymore. And it's partially in thanks to people like Jasmine Crockett, who so clearly call this bullshit out, as she did on CNN just now.
So today, Speaker Johnson told CNN's Manu Raju that he never tried to kill the discharge petition to force this onto the floor, the Epstein bill, onto the floor for a vote. But he shares President Trump's concerns about the bill. Take a listen.
We wanted to ensure that victims of these heinous crimes are completely protected from disclosure, those who don't want their names to be out there. And I'm not sure the discharge does that, and that's part of it.
What's your response to that?
I would cuss, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just say he's full of it. Number one.
This is cable. You can cuss.
I'm not going to do it, but I am going to say that he is full of, okay, I'm going to do it. He's full of shit. Because here's the thing. Number one, we know that he didn't even bring the House back in because he was trying to avoid us dealing with Epstein. In fact, he would not even swear in a duly elected, now new member of Congress, depriving and having to be sued by her state and others because they literally did not have any representation. He violated the Constitution to avoid this. So miss me on pretending that this is about the victims. In addition to that, when we finally released some of the information that we got from the Epstein estate, and we had all the victims' names redacted, who was it that was out there saying, oh, and this person is the person that is supposedly mentioned in this section? The Republicans did that to the extent that that victim's family had to come out against them for revealing potentially her name. So they're full of it. So right now, what I think is going to happen, the only reason that he is switched is because obviously he has had lots of conversations. Either the Senate is not going to take it up or they don't have the votes in the Senate. One of the two.
Right, and to Jake Tapper's earlier point from the intro, if the Republicans, Donald Trump specifically, wanted these files out, they would be out. They could be out. But that is the key to the recent shift. Why do you think this is now a Democrat hoax, a Democrat problem? Obviously, there's some just classic Trumpism there, blaming the other side. But Jasmine Crockett points out the real reason why he's making this shift. Take a listen to this.
But he never plans for this to actually go forward.
Oh, you think this is going to get killed in the Senate?
I think that this is going to get killed some way, somehow. Or the other option is that I think they're going to do the very same thing, and not necessarily the same thing, but the very reason that the files could not be released before is because there were active cases that were taking place. All the cases have been concluded because this administration decided they didn't want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. So they weren't going to investigate whatsoever. So now the files can be open. But now he said, look into my enemies. I want you to investigate this hoax. Well, if there's open cases, then that is your excuse for legally not allowing those documents to be out.
Well, you're saying something that Republican Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky, whose bill this is to force the Epstein files out, Trump has told the Justice Department to investigate prominent Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton, and their alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. That concerns Massie for the reason you said. Take a listen.
If they have ongoing investigations in certain areas, those documents can't be released. So this might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files.
Or it could just block the release of the ones having to do with Democrats.
Exactly. The reason there is the ability to have a discharge petition currently in order to release the files is because all of the investigations around Jeffrey Epstein and his victims were closed. But now, with Donald Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson's shift in focus to blaming and trying to investigate all of the Democrats that are alleged to be involved with Jeffrey Epstein, which again, I'm not saying if they are, they shouldn't be ousted and put in prison. But if they start to reopen investigations into those Democrats, that will delay the discharge of the files, because they cannot release them with ongoing investigations. So while I hope that she is wrong and that I am wrong in this speculation, I would not be shocked if come tomorrow, when that vote comes around, or as soon as it gets to Donald Trump's desk, we start to see renewed suspicion. Donald Trump and all his goons pushing Democrat this, Bill Clinton this. Oh, we're opening investigations because we found out this, and halting the release of the full Epstein files in order to try to drag this process out and make it as hard as it can be to get to the bottom, to get justice for the victims that at the very least Donald Trump was aware were being victimized. And that is fucking heinous and disgusting, and every person involved in this should be ashamed, regardless of political affiliation. But Donald Trump especially, and MAGA Mike Johnson, should at best have to do the naked Game of Thrones walk of shame that Cersei did down fucking the Washington Mall, while the rest of us get an opportunity to huck Tua at them. And at worst, they should be removed from office, put in prison, and never allowed to see the light of day again. And if that's something you agree with, then by all means, join us here at Really American in making sure either or both of those things happen by dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. It goes a long way. We're almost at 1 million subscribers, and we cannot do any of this without you. Thank you so much, guys. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'll see you guys in the next one.